Hello everyone, Shinto Bean here playing some more Warhammer Combat Cards Campaign Mode. And this week we have a 5-day campaign playing as Chaos against Orks. For the first part we were playing as Khorne, and I was running Skull Taker, if I can bring that deck up here, with a 100% keyword deck. This was a pretty fun one. It's one of my personal favorite Chaos decks. I don't really use this exact build in Ranked, but in the campaign it was quite fun. The Bloodthirster is a whole lot of fun. Its Death Blow often did not actually trigger, but able to deal 100 damage a turn, it's not too bad. Now for the second part of the campaign, we are playing as Nurgle, and we finally have some Nurglings in the game. The trait is Endless, and as you can see here, the visual layout when you zoom in on a card has changed. You are now able to see the stats of the card at any level. So right now I've got these Nurglings at level 4. We can go back and see what their stats were at level 1, and we can also fast forward and see what its stats are at max level. You can also select the traits at any tier and see what effect they have. So this is really nice, being able to just see these cards at the different stages. And it also applies to cards that you don't have in your collection yet. For example, in the shop we've got a pack with another new card. This is the Aspiring Champion, a strong melee bodyguard. So in the past you were not able to actually see the upgrade path or the trait until you had the card in your collection. But now, even though I don't own any copies, we can see that it gains plus 10 stats per upgrade. Every single one of its upgrades is a melee attack, and at max level it has 85 melee and almost 200 health. So this thing would combo very nicely with Skull Taker. I would like to have its nice looking model, but unfortunately I do not have the plasma for it, so no Aspiring Champion for me. Now continuing with the campaign, I'm still going with the Nurgle build, but I have switched out some of the Nurgle bodyguards for some other more resilient bodyguards, like the Terminator with triple shields. And then I've got the Pink Horror in here with Endless, which combos well with Gloggerthrox. Got two other Endless cards, the Poxwalker and the Nurglings. Now we got some Regeneration with Volgrar. This guy's nice, having both ranged and melee. And the Great Unclean One, this is the centerpiece of this deck. It is the only legendary in my collection that is at level 6. And at this level it does have a powerful psychic attack in addition to its melee, as well as a huge amount of health, and it heals 12 health at the end of each turn. So this thing definitely is able to pull its weight in many of the battles. Poison, I found, is actually a pretty useful trait to have if you have the trait at a high enough level, because it deals 12 damage at the end of each turn. It's actually pretty good at countering enemies with shields. And then we got some additional healing with the Plague Surgeon, and Gloggerthrox himself is at level 9. So we are up against a level 34 AI. This is the farthest I've gotten in this campaign, and we'll see what happens. Now I've noticed that the difficulty of the AI sometimes fluctuates. Like earlier in the campaign I actually faced off against a level 30 AI that had, I believe, 5 max level bodyguards, including several bodyguards with max level shields. That's 4 shields, and that was a terrible battle, which I did not win. But more recently, up until now, you can see I'm at level 34 now, and the last match I played, actually, at level 33 was quite easy. But they are running some max level cards, as you can see here. They got the Biker with the highest tier of Outflank. And let's see, what do we want to drop down? I'm not really sure what they're going to be deploying. I guess we'll go with the Terminator. It seems to show up in my starting hand almost every time. Okay, another max level card there. It's the Flash Git with Precision Shot. Let's take a look at the Warlord, actually. Another max level. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a challenge. Their cards are much higher level than mine. And I think, let's see how much damage this is do, 44. Maybe we'll throw down some Nurglings over here. Alright, so far all of their cards that have deployed are at the max level. Max level Fear is pretty nasty. It's a 60% reduction in damage, reducing damage of this Terminator to almost nothing. I am going to be going for the Psychic attack. And we're debuffing their melee, but they do have a lot of ranged on the field, so Yeah, I don't really have anything that can counter fear except for the poison. I'd rather not have to use poison on that guy, but I might not have any other choice. So the first stack of Nurgles are not hitting the Flash Gate, and I think we're just going to continue going with the Psychic. I've found that with this deck, with the Great Unclean One, I've been going mostly Psychic, more than any other attack type, which allows me to regenerate, debuff the enemy's attack type, as well as buffing my own. Another max level Death Dread there. Still only does 4 damage, for now. Okay, and the second set of Nurglings dies. Alright, let's take a look at this Death Dread. 96 damage, and it gets plus 12 stats every time it takes any damage. Alright, so we do have the Plague Marine with poison. I think I'm going to drop it down in the center lane and just try to deal with Gubbins. Damage from poison, of course, is unaffected by fear. Alright, continuing to go Psychic. I'm not really sure how the Great Unclean One, that Greater Demon, is going to be able to deal with this Death Dread. If they keep going ranged, then might be in pretty good shape. We do have a pretty big melee attack charged up at this point. Let's see how much damage we can do just to test the waters here. 134. Yeah, that's not quite enough. We're just going to keep going Psychic. And at this point it's also helpful because it allows the poison to deal some additional damage. But with another ranged attack, that Plague Marine is going to go down. It would have been nice if I could have poisoned 2 of the enemies, but that's just not happening here. I'd be very surprised if I can win this one, honestly, with all these max level cards. Alright. What do we want to put down next? I think we might just... This guy might be a good option, actually. Yeah, we'll try this. We'll put down Volgar over in the right lane. And we'll continue going with the Psychic, I think. Yeah, one more Psychic attack and then we could probably swap over to melee. Assuming they don't go melee first. But they have the superior range, so I'm guessing that's what they're going to go with. Okay, there it is. Great Unclean One still at well over 400 health, so it's doing just fine. Okay, and this is going to be a bit of an overkill here, but I think we can go ahead and use that melee attack. The Death Dread is at 132 melee, so we don't really want that thing making its attack. So go ahead and hit him with the melee, and the poison's actually going to finish off Gubbins. So you see, without that poison, it would have taken much longer to destroy that card. Alright, they still have 4 more bodyguards left. Okay, another max level Tank Buster, max level Scrapjet, and the Bubble Chucka. Every single card in this deck so far has been at the max level, so I guess it just doesn't get any better than this. Alright, and at this point, yeah, I think it would be best to just continue going with Psychic. We got 2 guys regenerating on the field, and I can heal them even more, actually. Yeah, so we're gonna, I think, swap the Volgar over to the center lane, move the Plague Surgeon in the right lane, over 100 healing on the Great Unclean One, and we're able to debuff ranged. Now, they do have a really big melee attack charged up, which could be problematic once Ghazghkull Thraka himself deploys. He's basically just going to wipe out whatever is in the center lane, no matter how much health it has. Okay, and their final bodyguard is going to be deploying next. What will it be is the big question. And I think we'll save the melee for another turn to go with the Psychic, destroy that Bubble Chucka, and we'll see what comes out next. Papa Nurgle over 500 health at the moment. Okay, a max level Gorkanaut. Wow. Oh, okay, and yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah, this is a bug. I'm going to be forced to close the game here. Yeah, this is a really annoying bug that has been happening since the last update. If you, I guess, tap on a card before it finishes deploying, then it can cause the entire game to freeze. So you have to close out of the game. Fortunately, it is still able to reconnect you, usually, I think, to the game. And hopefully we'll be able to do that here. But yeah, it's another bug that they really need to get fixed. Okay, back to the battle. It is their it is our turn, I guess. I guess they already made their attack. Let's take a look at this again. Okay, the Gorkanaut has a whole lot of damage and a whole lot of health. Okay, well, probably, I mean, we could take out that bodyguard, but then it's just going to get wiped out by the Warlord, which hasn't actually gained too many stats at this point. So they haven't really killed too many bodyguards. Okay, well, I'm just going to keep going Psychic for now, and see what happens. We can keep healing. But actually, if they go ranged, they are getting debuffed. So they're not dealing quite as much damage, but it's still enough that, yeah, I'm afraid Volgar is not really going to last much longer here. So, oh, but look at the melee attack they have charged up. That is just huge. Alright. The problem is, if I go melee here, then Gaz is going to deploy, they're going to go melee, and yeah, it's not going to survive. So I'm just going to go with the Psychic once again. I think maybe what I could do is just start throwing fodder at the Gorkanaut, weaken its attack, and then I'm afraid Volgar is going to die here. So yeah, Tank Bust is getting hit with the Nurgle's Rot, which is not really great. But yeah, Gaz is also going to be dealing 143 damage with his Furious Charge when he deploys, so basically more than tripling his attack. Okay. Gonna put down the Pink Horror. And this is where things are gonna get interesting. Because once they use their ranged attack next turn, the Pink Horror is probably going to... Yeah, the Pink Horror is going to kill off the Tank Buster, which will force the enemy Warlord on the field. But then it will be my turn. Okay? So the Furious Charge is going to kill the first Pink Horror. The Nurgle's Rot is going to hit the Warlord, reducing its damage. And I'm still going to have another one redeploying here. So I think that actually... That is working out in my favor, I think. It kind of depends on if I have a big enough melee attack to kill the Gorkanaut, though. And I do not, unfortunately. Well, what I could do here... I think, yeah, because they have the superior melee attack now, they may waste their melee attack this turn. And if they do that, I may have a chance of beating them. Yep, sure enough. 332 damage, massive overkill on the Pink Horror. And yeah, they're killing almost everything. Gonna counterattack with the melee. Problem is, yeah, this is going to be a pretty close one, I think. We can reduce the damage on Gaz. The issue is it going to be enough? Now, he did get hit by several stacks of Nurgle's Rot, so, you know, this... Do we want to go with the melee here? Oh, wow. You know what, I think we're actually going to pull this off. Every single card they had is max level, and I think we're still going to win. Yeah, because now that they wasted their charged up melee attack, they don't have enough damage to actually kill my Warlord with the Fear. And they're definitely not going to go melee into this with the Greater Demon over there sitting in the open lane. Alright. Managed to pull it off, amazingly. Alright, and we can just finish off with a melee attack. I believe, yep, we do have enough. GG. Taking down that... I think this is actually the very first time that I've won against a deck that was full of maxed out cards. So, this deck is pretty strong. Again, in large part because of old Papa Nurgle at level 6. But, yeah, that worked out pretty nicely. So, let me know how this campaign is going for you. I know these 5-day campaigns really start to drag. And honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing shorter campaigns in the future, but I do enjoy playing as Chaos. They are quite a bit of fun, especially when you're using these thematic decks. So, I am going to be taking a closer look at the card filter that they added, and maybe making a few videos just taking a look at different keywords and stuff, which is a lot easier now that they've added this card filter into the game. You can search by keyword. You can also sort your cards in your collection by different characteristics. So it's a really nice little addition to the game. But let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in that regard. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.